Good evening. Word on the curb, family and friends. Welcome back and thank you. I want to remind you to hydrate. Hydrate. Drink your water, eat your fruit, moisturize your feet, hands, and face, and mind your business. That makes a difference. Tonight, before we get started, my name is Annette. I'm your host here at Word on the Curb podcast, and I am happy to see you back again. I am the visionary and owner of Word on the Curb podcast. And tonight, I am hosting a gentleman that I've watched for a bit. He is from the People's Podcast. Can you hear me, Kevin? I can't hear you. He's from the People's Podcast. And tonight, we're going to be talking about how to win after a loss. But before we get started, please see us on Facebook at Word on the Curb. See us at the Black Girls Locker Room at What Trenton Really Makes, and on YouTube at Word on the Curb podcast. Kevin, you're still not. I can't hear you. Can't hear you. I'd like to ask my guests to please stand by for a second. I'm going to go in here and work on a few things to try to get my guests.
Are we good now?
We are absolutely good now. Thank you very much to get him live. And so, before I get started, I'd like to, thank one of my sponsors, the Ingram Kingdom Mobile Kitchen. I'd like to shout out Elisa's Catering. Hey, girl, keep going, looking good. I'd like to also shout out Winston Dramatic Mills. There are podcasters everywhere. And before I go any further, let me shout out Bruce Boyd, who is doing it over at Boyd's Studios. So thank you to all of you who are joining us now and who will join us later. And Kevin, just so you know, we'll boost this out because people tend to come back and watch this podcast.
That's right. Yeah.
And so, good evening, Kevin Hines from the People's Podcast. You want to introduce yourself?
Good evening. Good evening. Thanks for having me. Hi everybody, to all the viewing audience of Word on the Curb podcast. My name is Kevin Hines, number one host of the People's Podcast.
That's right. And I invited Kevin on because I believe in sharing this podcast space. And because we have sponsors, we're able to do that. So thank you, Kevin, for coming on live. Tonight, our conversation is going to be a little bit about, how we win after a loss. Now, there are a ton of people who will tell you they've never lost, they've only learned. I'm wise enough to
Right.
know that I've learned and I've lost. And so tell me a little bit about that, Kevin. Tell us a little bit about you. Tell us about what a win after a loss looks like.
One of my favorite rap albums from Meek Mill. It's called Wins and Losses, and I definitely could relate to that because winning after a loss, we all done been through trials and tribulations in our lives, and whether you lost a job or you went broke, or in my case,
I've been broke
you know what
many
I'm saying?
times. I've been broke many times, for the record.
Right, you know what I'm saying?
That's
So
right.
in my case, I've experienced homelessness before. Um, I've been to prison before. I've been like at the lowest of the low. So to come back and to do anything, to make any accomplishment, to do all the things that I have done is, I definitely could relate to winning after taking losses. If you ever invested money before and it didn't go well, that's a loss. You know what I'm saying? And
Yes.
so
So Kevin, you said something that I find interesting. And, by heart, I'm a social worker. By employment,
right,
I've been an executive as well as an
right.
elected official. You said something about the lowest of the low. I don't think anybody can actually reach the lowest of the low unless they go down and don't come up, unless they refuse to get back up. Because life
I
on
understand
life
what you're saying.
terms is going to bring us some tribulation. Tribulations like bankruptcy, tribulations like failed marriages, tribulations like failed
Hmm.
relationships, tribulation like lost jobs, lost friends that you thought were cool. You talk about investing money. I invested money in a friend that I thought, was pretty cool and capable of getting the job done, and they screwed up every bit of it, and it was a huge loss. It wasn't a little loss; it was a big loss. And so I know
Right.
about that, and
Hmm.
sometimes, in families, when we break generational curses, we suffer losses because that's not
Right.
always comfortable for everybody. And the win back
Hmm.
in that is great. So keep kicking it. Come on, bring it.
Um. Again, like I said, I agree with what you. I understand what you're saying about the lowest of the lows. You said that you feel if if you're not able to get up, you basically looking at it like you always the lowest of the low is someone that is not able to improve upon their situation. Uh, I guess we're talking about death then, because what I mean, outside of death or some kind of medical permanent illness or something, like there's always opportunity to improve your situation. Um, and I just think that you know, in business is something that I think the most of the general public can relate to because
Mm,
everybody has made business investments. Everybody has loaned money to a friend or a family member, and sometimes things don't go right. You might have hired somebody to do some work for you, and they didn't do the job, and you lost that. There's so many ways with business where you can take losses, uh, and then obviously the wins. We all know about the wins. Like, what I mean? I'm a party promoter, aside from the podcast. So I throw events. I have to invest my money in a party, but you take a risk when you do it because you never guaranteed the turnout. You might want 500 people to come, but what if only 100 people came? You know what I'm saying? What if nobody came? Like, it's kind of a risk. Um, so, I've took losses and throwing parties, but I've also won a lot too. So, like I said, I can relate to winning after a loss. You know what I mean?
so yeah, thank you for that. And let me just
Hmm.
say this: you spoke to homelessness. To the homeless person out there today that might be listening to this, and they do because people have phones, right? What would you
Right.
tell them?
Um, I would say don't get content in that and stuck in that feeling like it's over, man, because um, you don't have to stay that way. They got all kinds of resources and programs that will help you. You got to just want better for yourself first and foremost. Um, Someone else can't want it more than you do. You have to want it for yourself more than anything, and then you have to take the necessary steps to improve your situation. Um, when I went through my homelessness, I didn't necessarily have to do that. Um, Everybody didn't know. I was ashamed to tell certain people because if I would have told certain individuals, they would have helped me instantly. But I didn't want to say anything to anybody, so I kind of like dealt with it or whatever. But there's people out there that might be dealing with that situation as well too. If you got friends or family like, and it's willing to help you, if you didn't burn those bridges, like reach out, man. It's okay, man. If you're going through hard times don't last. It's okay, man. That's what people on this earth was put here for.
Yeah,
Everybody is not doing the same. Some people are doing better than others. There's people that are able to help you, and if someone isn't able to help you, maybe they know someone else that can help you. But again, if you're out there, if you're dealing with homelessness, you're sleeping outside, you're sleeping in the train station, If you're sleeping in wherever you're sleeping at, staying in a friend's house or house to house, and seek help, seek help, because it's good people out here. Everybody's not you know
That's
mean
right.
and selfish. You do have good people out
And you know what? That's important too, Kev, because we have somebody who said, "Woo, you're one of the screens. You are on the screen with one." Okay, thank you. All right, and so
here. I know. What does that comment say? I didn't see
they
it. What
say
is it?
you are on the screen with one. People who are willing to help people.
Right. Yes. Yes.
We both are. It's both of us. So
Right.
thank you. Yeah, and the wheel, I get that because if I want anybody to take, if I want you to take anything away from this message tonight about winning after a loss, is number one, everything is not always what it appears to be, right?
That's true.
And number two is don't ever let anybody hold you hostage to tell you that somebody might not help you. You don't know until you ask.
That's
And so
true.
sometimes, that's the way it is. He said, I heard him on the Trading Waves. He was funny with the Sassos. He's very funny. And the Sassos are great people. Yeah. That's Rushan Taylor. Thanks, Rushan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Kevin,
Okay.
Kevin
I
is,
got that's one of my first reviews I've ever heard someone from the Trenton Waves. Shout out to the Trenton Waves podcast.
yeah, Trading Waves is big. They have a tremendous
I
audience.
I know that. Yeah, I know that. I just never actually connected with someone that told me they watched the podcast yet. But Frank tells me all the time that but he's got good feedback about that episode.
That's right. That's right. Well, you have one here tonight, and I'm sure you'll have many more because, your podcast is well known, very
Mm-hmm.
much watched, and people know who you are. I think you should think about a comedian type role in your podcast because they tell me you're funny. They tell me you're pretty
Okay.
funny. So
Yeah.
like don't be afraid to fly and stretch your wings a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
People are watching you, and you're doing some good stuff. And so you
Thank
also
you.
talk about promoting and businesses
Yes.
and how we lose, right, in businesses, and we do. And one of the things that we need to do a better job of, especially here in Mercer County, is helping folks learn how to get their events paid for prior to the day of the event,
That's right.
so that you have a count. Does that make sense?
That's right.
Yeah. And so somebody else said, I haven't seen Kev smile in a long time. Wow. Keep smiling, Kev.
Right.
Look at that smile. That's because he's doing good things. So to see him
Who is
smile,
who is that person? I may know some of these
you
people.
would have to go in to the actual podcast when it's over. Because what happens
Okay, gotcha.
here on StreamYard is, which is how I stream here,
Hmm.
I work with the Sassos as well. I have a podcast, Word on the Curb, with them as well. It's a radio podcast. This is a
Gotcha.
live podcast. And so, in
Gotcha.
order to see who the Facebook users are, he said it's Michi. It's Michi. It's Michi, Kev.
Oh, okay. Demetria Mason. Okay, Demetria.
That's right.
Okay.
I've known her since she was a baby. Her mother and I grew
Right.
up together. But winning after a loss, right? So I think the most important thing is that don't believe everything you see. You can't,
That's correct.
and I want people to remember that social media is just that. It's social media. It's not meant to be an English class. It's not meant to be a judgment venue. It's just social media. It's where people get on and socialize and talk about things that are important to them, right?
That's right.
So, in a win after a loss, I think the first thing for me, Kev, is when I lost, and I've lost many times,
Hmm.
is accepting that I lost.
That's right.
No denial. No denial about it. That I'd lost, that it had not been in my favor, right? So acceptance was a big part for me. You
That's right.
know, what was it for you? Like when you lost and the turnaround started to happen, you know, how did it happen? Did it happen in your mind first? I mean, what happened?
It definitely happened in my mind. I'm gonna share something personal with you. This is not the first time I shared this,
Hmm.
so I'm comfortable speaking about my past and anything that I ever been through. I did 2 years in New Jersey State Prison, and I should have never been incarcerated because I got railroaded by the probation and judicial system. I got railroaded. Um, and when I had no idea that that was ever going to even happen to me. I was one of them people like, there's no way that I can actually go to jail because I didn't do anything. Number one, but when you actually on in that once you get into that system, then people can kind of do whatever they want to you. That's why you got to stay out the system. Um, and when I was in there, like I said, in my experience, I felt like I was in the lowest of the lowest. And then coming home, getting released, yeah, you happy that you're released back into society, but it's like you're starting all over. So I had lost everything while I was gone. I didn't even have a pair of underwear to put on when I came home. Like I had nothing. And I documented all this on my social media because I wanted to motivate other people who may have dark situations to show that you can improve your situation. So when I came home, I went live on my social media and I showed my clothes that I had the same stuff on from yesterday, that I borrowed my little brother's clothes. I don't have anywhere to stay. But I
Okay.
told Facebook, I said, give me 45 days. I'm going to change all of this. And less than 45 days, it was probably 28 days. Like I was good. I got a job. I threw a party. I sold it out. Like, now I got a place to stay. I got thousands of dollars in my bank account. Like I'm going. This is all within like 30 days. And nobody gave me nothing. I had a couple people help with monetary things, but I'm like talking about anything significantly. Like nobody gave me nothing significant. Like it was just all me. I was documenting this. Like I was doing like a day one, day 15, day 30. Like I was documenting all this on social media. Like you can even go back for people that know how to do that. You can go back to 2017 and you can see this. Like I even go back sometimes and watch this myself. Like, so it's just like, but it was a mindset. It started in my mind. Like I knew I wanted better for myself and I was not going to be content with staying in that situation. So,
Yeah.
I had to do what I had to do to change that. You know what I'm
Yeah. Kev, there's a book in you, I think. There's a book in you.
saying? Mhm.
Doesn't have to be a big book, but there's a book in you because,
Right.
see, the reason I did this podcast tonight is
Hmm.
because even if we tell a few jokes, you know, we go a little bit to the left. I think what's
Right.
important is that people know that we all have hard times, all of us.
Right.
All of us. The most important thing is that we get back up again.
Right. And I still go through hard times now, even though I'm doing like nowhere near where I was at back then. But I'm a lot better now. But I still go through, even as someone who's successful and doing good for their stuff, I still have other challenges that I come across. I still have other hardships in my life that I have to deal with, we just deal with them accordingly. It's just life, man. I've come to the
That's right.
understanding and knowing that in this thing
Yeah,
called life, you're gonna have peaks and valleys, ups and downs.
that's right.
Yeah.
Life is tough. You know, so
Right.
in your marketing piece, one of the things that I added was living ain't for the weak. It's
That's right.
not. It's
That's right.
because you know this is why it's so important that we behave like human beings, understanding that we're all the human race, right?
Right.
And that we protect and uplift what's ours. And
That's
so,
right.
you know, understanding that, man, ish happens. It
That's
just
right.
happens. It's called life on life's terms. It just happens. Nobody plans to do bad. Nobody ever plans to be a drug addict when they start using. It's as a
Right.
direct result of the use that they become a drug addict. But I can guarantee you can ask 20 people addicted and they'll tell you that wasn't my plan. I was having fun.
Right.
You can ask people who lost their jobs that wasn't my plan. That's just the way it went. So hearing you talk about being homeless and coming home and documenting it and knowing that, there's hope for other people. See, that matters. And all the stuff we do, as much as we might fruitcake and, go back and forth and do, people got to know that there's an opportunity and there's hope. There's opportunity and
Right.
hope.
And I did that against the wishes of certain people. I never forget my big bro Darren Freedom Green. That's my brother. I love Freedom. Freedom did not
Yeah.
want me to be on
Shout out,
social
Free.
media. Yeah. Freedom did not want me to be on social media at all during my transition back into society. He wanted me to remain low pro. He wasn't the only one. It was a lot of my family. They all wanted
Mhm.
me to remain a low profile, and they thought that it was a bad idea doing it that way. But I wanted to do it the way I wanted to do it because I saw the bigger picture. And I got so many people that reached out to me that had boyfriends that was incarcerated, or they
Mhm.
had a relative that needed that inspiration because they were struggling with either employment or they just came home, and seeing me, they inspired them. It was like, yo, if Kev can do that, then I could do that. You know what I'm saying? So that was the whole method behind my madness in the first place. That's exactly what I wanted to accomplish.
And so, you know what? And that's big, Kev. That's
Hmm.
big. That's how Leos do it. Oh, this is a
Right.
Leo thing right now, right? So somebody said that's how Leos do it. You're a Leo.
Right. Right.
Okay. That's how people who want to do better do it too. Because man,
And
look,
as a aside, I want can I we not can we can't curse on there, can we? Okay. As an aside, I wanted to shine on my haters. I was going to use another word, but I wanted to shine on all the people who wish bad or ill will or hate on Kevin Hines. So I also wanted to document that for them to show, listen, just this fast, like I could go from nothing to something, just that fast.
that's right. Rise up, brother. Rise up. And so, you know what? You just gave me chills with that because I'm telling you, the sooner people telling your story is
Hmm.
what gives other people hope. It's not what
That's
people
right.
think about you. You know what I mean? See, your
That's right.
reputation, that's what people say, right? Oh,
Right.
don't like him, don't trust him, don't do this, don't do that, don't do. That's what they say. And when
Right.
people listen to what they say, they become hostages, right? There's a lot of
Hmm.
hostages out here. Hater hostages. They're out here. They assume, the dislike of somebody else, right?
Hmm.
Never did a thing
That's
to
right.
them. You don't have to do anything to them. They're on a fruitcake mission. They just, oh, my people don't care. I don't care. You're a hostage, baby. And I don't care who you are. You heard it here first. When you assume somebody else's dislike for somebody that you don't know, that's never done anything to you, you're a hostage. So, Kev, you just have some hostages, right? That's your fan
That's right.
page. That's
That's
your
right.
fan page, right? Yeah. But that thing about getting it together and doing what you have to do and inspiring people, that's big, Kev. Don't lose that. Put it
Hmm.
out there. That book. You need help? You give me a call. I can direct you to some people who can help you write it and do whatever. Tell people they need to hear it. They
Right.
need to hear that. Like we fall down, but we get up. I know that's just cliche, but it's not getting up. that
That's
keeps you
right.
down.
That's right.
It's not what happened to you. It's the failure to get up. So, Kev,
Hmm.
you told the homeless people, what you want them to know. You want to talk to your fan page a little bit and let them know that in spite of what they think, feel, or believe, you might walk, you might crawl, you might run, but you'll always rise after every fall.
I'm always going to rise because at the end of the day, I'm one of the most ambitious, confident, motivated individuals on planet Earth. Like, so like my confidence is like at an all time high. I feel like I could do anything that I want to do. I feel like nobody can stop me. So you know, to the haters or anybody that rooting against me, like that motivates me. I like to prove people wrong. When somebody tell me I can't do something, I'm gonna do it just to show you I can do it because you said I
Yeah.
could. You know what I'm
So, Kev, I want to salute you for the very fact that you have an audience that you can reach
saying?
and that you have a lot that you can say to them.
Hmm.
And if nothing else, wherever you go and whatever you do, lift a brother up, lift a sister up, because
That's
there's
right.
enough stuff out here to keep us down. But a win after every loss is about a mindset
Hmm.
and the courage to just try one more time.
That's right.
All right. And so that's what happens. We just try one more time. I am grateful, to have you here tonight, and I want to thank the people who tuned in. A win after a loss is about the example sitting before you, Kevin Hines.
That's right.
Win after a loss. That's right. And you talked about prison. Let's just tap that a little bit, right?
Okay.
So, back in the day when I was on council, one of the things that I brought to Mayor Palmer was reentry. I research a lot of things. I'm not the brightest person in the group. And if I am, I leave that group. Remember that.
Hmm.
I'm not the smartest person in the group. And when I am, I
Right.
will leave that group. Because in order to rise, you have to sit at a larger table with smart people, right?
That's
And
true.
smart
That's
is
true.
not about education, smart is about knowledge. And it comes in many forms. So let me just quickly say this that, inspiring people to do what they do is what you've been gifted to do. You don't want to miss that message. Prison is this, right? A lot of people are in prison who shouldn't be there.
That's
That's
true.
why there's an innocent project. A lot of people in prison who shouldn't be there. And like it or not, I respect folks who understand that the odds are stacked against the black man.
That's
Spin it any way you want, it's a reality. And for any black man who goes in and comes out and stands up and does their thing, I salute you. I salute you, Kevin Hines.
thank you.
Go on and encourage some people. Keep promoting. Keep, doing your thing, but don't leave out the inspiration. And Mello Marcia, my cousin, says hello. And they say, gotta use that hater hostages. Use it. Kevin knows a lot of hostages. We don't use the word hater anymore. It's hostages, baby. Y'all hostage. You're hostage to the fact that you missed his message. You're hostage to the fact that you don't understand. This man got a plan. You better get with
That's
it.
right.
Come on, Kevin, wrap it up for us. What do you want the
Um,
audience to remember about tonight?
I want the audience to remember about tonight, whatever you guys are going through. Um, Tough times don't last, and to always remain grateful that we have life, health, and strength. Always understand that tomorrow is another day and another opportunity, and just keep striving for greatness.
And see, that's a hit. And that's the name of your book. Keep striving for greatness. You gotta write that book. You gotta write that book, and you gotta keep telling people about the valleys and the mountains, because until they see it live and hear people say, I've actually gone through that, they don't get
Right.
it. They don't get it. They think everything they see on, you let people tell you that they're millionaires on Facebook, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why wouldn't you, and they're not, but why would you believe a man? Why would you not believe a man who's actually been through the struggle and he's telling you how he made it out? Y'all better listen. Y'all don't listen. That's the problem. Listen up. Listen up. Kev, thank you for being here tonight. My name is Annette. I am your host here at Word on the Curve. Kevin Hines is my guest from the People's Podcast. Kev, thanks for sharing your story and letting them know just how it works. Have a good night.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for having me, Annette. Thank you.
Absolutely. Anytime. Just say when. Good night.